Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us. Sorry for we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we actually arranged to make sure that we're live with you today in my kitchen. I have the privilege and the honor to have Francois here. Here in my kitchen is actually, like I just told him, it's a privilege. Seriously, to have him here. And the privilege is why, after reading a little bit of his old track in life, his third generation of spice masters, I think, right?
Right.
So that's huge. I mean, that's huge. So yeah, we're very honored to have him here, and actually everybody is going to have a fantastic night because we're going to learn about the world of curry, which is huge. It's not the typical only curry that you go and find the Indian restaurant on your corner. No, this is a whole world that we're going to actually be learning with them tonight. So I'm not going to talk much. I'm going to cook a little bit afterwards with the curry that's going to be making now. So Francois, why don't you take the stage and
All right.
take our people to the world of curries.
Thank you so much, Chef Rafael, for having us. I want to thank Vecinos Market to give the opportunity for people like us with passion to be able to transmit, our beautiful knowledge to you guys. So before I start the class about curry, I want to introduce a little bit myself about who I am. So my name is Francois. I'm the fourth generation of family spice business from France. So my grandfather started the business back on the 1930 from south of France. He was an Italian immigrant, and he moved from Naples, Italy to the south of France. And that's where all the family history starts from. Myself, I start on the early 2000 working with my uncle's shop in Paris called La Route des Indes in Boulevard Haussmann, which is a beautiful place. And this is where I learned all those beautiful products and how to make those beautiful products together. So it became to me a passion. I was just fascinated by all those color, flavors, and how we can combine them all together. And then I moved, here in the US more than 13 years ago. I'm the founder and the co-owner of two stores in New York called Spices and Teas, located in Grand Central Market and Chelsea Market. And then, I just moved back to Miami about 2 years and a half, and I created that new company, which is Monde d'Épices. So in French, Monde d'Épices means the world of spice. And this is where I'm at. And again, I want to thank Vecinos Market, I want to thank Rafael, Yvonne, for having us and give us that opportunity.
Amazing. So before we start, would you just open a little bit of wine, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right now? So we have a wine. Thank you so much for a wine shop, which is great guy, Mr. D. So you can shop all the greatest wines and Vecinos Market, also delivered to your door. So a great cooking night starts with a great wine, right?
Yeah, that sounds good, especially with our French guy.
Yes, especially with a French guy with an Italian influence, right?
So, we are going to talk about curry, right? And we can call curry the legendary powder. The legendary powder because it has a long history behind. Interesting enough, then curry comes from the word curry. It was not actually an English word in the beginning. It was translated, but it was coming from a misunderstanding world. There is no such of Indian language that use the word curry.
Oh,
That's so funny.
it's impressive, yeah.
So before to start again the class, there is that quick intro that's coming from a book called The 600 Curry, and is referring of saying that curry is almost everything. Okay, so curry could be, for example, salmon with garlic. Curry is grilled chicken with cashew tomato. Curry is asparagus and tomato sauce. Curry is, again, could be grilled chicken with coconut milk. Curry is with basmati rice and a lot of different flavors. So again, curry is everything. It could be cooked with any kind of ingredients, and we can make a lot of beautiful dish with it. Welcome to the world of curry. So what we are going to see today, what I'm going to say, the table of contents. So we are going to see quickly a brief history of curry. I'm going to be very brief on that part because we only have a short time today, and the 45 minutes won't be enough to explain the whole story behind. Then we are going to explain. I want to explain you what will be the difference between the curry powder, which will be those beautiful powder right there, the curry leaves, which will be the leaf right here, the curry paste. So we are going to make at the end of the course a quick curry paste, and the final result of all those together will be the curry dish. And
which we're gonna cook for you guys. So stay on that.
Stay tuned.
Cook with it, yeah.
And then we're going to make a quick zoom about our 10 different curries that we have today. A lot of different kinds. So we're going to explain one after the other what will be their use, their flavor, their heat level, and everything. We are going to go after also with the different health benefits that curry can provide to the people.
Wow.
It's very interesting, mainly because of the turmeric that is used into curry.
So how many blends of curries there are out there? Is there?
Well, by the way, so we only have right now 10, but I'm already working on the 10 next one, just to tell you how amazing a curry can be. But obviously, probably I would say at least 100 minimum of different kind of curry powder.
And is there a base between all of them, like a base that all of the curries have to have in order to,
of course,
for it to be called curry?
Yes and no. Yes, for the yellow curry, the base is definitely made with turmeric. Okay. That's what's going to bring the color out of it. But the no will be if you refer to, for example, the black curry or the green curry, they are not made with turmeric. Oh, wow. They are made in a different way. The use will be the same for a curry dish, but they are not made specially with turmeric. Okay. So that's interesting enough to know about that. And the last part we are going to see will be a few recipe tips. So I want to talk to you also about the quality spice, how you guys can try to analyze what is a good quality spice or not. And then I'm going to leave you with Chef Rafael.
And how long to keep your spices on the counter, right?
Exactly.
People leave them there for 3 years
exactly.
And they're like, oh, this doesn't taste like nothing.
I know, right?
Like I know a lot of people that do that. You don't do that, right?
So they are just not good anymore. If they don't taste, I mean they're not good anymore. It's that simple. All right. So the brief history about curry. It is back from the 17th century, but originally from India. But there is also a lot of evidence that it was even before that. It was from England back on the 13th century. Some of the first recipe was coming on the first English cookbook. Wow. Back around that time. So it's just amazing that today we're going to talk about our products, and it's more than 700 to 800 years. Yeah. So with all the story behind and where it's coming from. The curry is used in almost any part of the world, of course, so it could be used in food, but also in drinks. You can make a lot of different drinks with curry. Yeah. Cool. The word curry comes from carry. It's with a K, K-A-R-Y. So it's from the Tamil language from India. But it was changed by the British to the word curry, the word that we all know now is C-U-R-R-Y. So the curry itself is not only one spice, but it's a combination of a lot of different spices. It could be mild or spicy. Interesting enough also, the signification of curry is different between the west part of the world, so which is us, European people, and the US, versus India. Okay. For the Indian people, curry refers to a dish, a sauce dish, a gravy.
Okay, so is it the sauce?
That's the sauce, so that's the dish.
Okay.
For us, when we think about curry, it's mainly the powder, the curry powder. It's a mix, a blend of different spices, and then we cook with it. Okay. So that's very interesting to know about that. The first curry that was made in India was not spicy.
Sweet. It was just...
Exactly. It was mild, but it was not spicy. We had to wait up to Christopher Columbus came back to the New World. He was trading the chilies, and that's how the
They
chili
bring the
is
heat.
introduced to the Indian cuisine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but before that, the original curry was they were homemade.
Because it was Christopher Columbus that came into
The New World, he was trading the different
he
chili.
came with the chilies there. You got that? I got this.
Exactly. That's how he did.
All right.
So that's how, you know, a curry, depending to the different spice that we are going to use, they are going to have different texture, colors, and flavor.
Okay.
Right? So that's what we have here. As you can see, you know, we have some yellow curry, we have white, orange, black, green. I'm going to explain you why, you know, they're turning this way, and of course for what they are going to be for. Now, what is the difference between the curry powder, the curry leaf,
which is amazing, guys. I hope you can smell this because this is amazing. This curry leaves. Oh, it's just amazing.
Very intense.
You brought this amazing.
Very intense. Curry leaves, the curry paste, which we're gonna see do the quick recipe at the end, and the dish. So obviously the curry powder, they are like a mix, a blend of different spice mix that we use. The yellow one come obviously from a lot of use of the turmeric, which is the one right there, the turmeric spice. The green powder one are usually made when we use a lot of fresh dry herbs such as lemongrass, parsley, tarragon, dill, fennel seeds are fresh. So the flavor are more bright. They are less strong and pungent than the yellow curry.
Okay.
They are brighter. I'm going to explain you after for what they are good for, one after the other.
Oh.
So the curry powder, it's a mix of different spices. The curry leaf right there, a lot of people might be confused about it. Because sometimes when they see that, you say, oh, this is the curry leaf, and they say, oh, this is from that you are cooking the curry dish, and the answer is not. This is not from the curry leaf that we are cooking the curry dish. We are going to use the curry leaf, in fact, to make our curry powder. Number one. The other thing, so this is coming from a tree. It is very similar than the European use bay leaves, but it is much more pungent. When you open the jar versus the bay leaf, if you open it, you smell okay, sweeter, it's lighter. Yeah. But this one, as soon as you open it, you just feel it right away. So that's the curry leaf. So it is used to make your spice, your curry powder, or to flavor your dish. The curry paste, which we are going to do at the end, so it's technically a combination of some of the curry powder that we are going to use with a bit of oil, any kind of oil, so it could be olive oil, coconut oil, any type of oil that you prefer. You can add some fresh ingredients into it, such as garlic, shallots, scallion, fresh ginger, anything that you like. So we say oil, garlic, and the spice powder, as it is. So you're going to mix that all together. It's going to be a little bit thick. So that's the curry paste. And then from that curry paste, you're going to do your curry dish.
Yes.
You're going to use it. And then there is different way, and also at the end, I'm going to explain you, there is different way to, if you like a very condensed curry paste, so you can leave it as it is.
I know what it is, because I used to live in Napa in California, and I used to work for my pan, which is a Thai chef. So she used to make me do the curry from scratch. And no, I could not use the blender. I had to actually do everything by hand. The lemongrass is so perfectly thin. Right. So I really learned how to do that paste from scratch. Right. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very condensed. If you like it very condensed, so very strong, so you just leave it as it is. If you want to do it a little bit lighter, there is always a little trick to do it lighter, and we will go over after that. And then the final thing will be the curry dish. So the curry dish, this is what Rafael is going to do at the end of the class. So it's basically the combination of either the curry powder or the paste, cooked with anything you like. Because this is curry is with anything you like. There is no limit about curry. It could be
vegetable, chicken, fish, lobster.
There we go.
Rice.
Anything. Curry is unlimited. It's just you do a dish according to your taste, basically. So yeah, so that's the thing. The other thing I want to go over, and it's very important, it's on the technical part of when we do a spice blend, to try to understand how we do a spice blend, right? So from scratch, because that's who we are. That's what we do. You know, we do any of the blends are coming from scratch. To give you an idea, a way to categorize a spice or to do a spice blend, there is 5 different kinds of category. So the first category will be the sweet spice.
Okay.
The second category will be the hot spice. Will be the tangy spice. The fourth category will be the pungent spice. The fifth category, you may not know much that word, it's called the Armageddon spice.
What is Armageddon?
Exactly. So what is Armageddon?
End of the world.
I know. So the Armageddon spice, technically, that's what's going to be the base of your spice blend. So they could be referred as spices such as paprika, turmeric, or coriander. The reason why is when you're going to do your spice blend, you start with that and it won't take over the whole of the spice. But that's your base, so you can use a good amount of it.
A month of it.
Wow. Yeah, and those, by the way, will tie all the other categories on top. So you start with the Armageddon spice, then you go with the sweet spice. So the individual sweet spice could be used in general for baking. So we can refer to cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg, allspice. So those are the baking spice. For a spice blend, when you use spice, some sweet spice,
okay,
they allow to balance your blend, right? So you use your Armageddon, then your sweet, then you're going to use the tangy spice. So the tangy spice are referring to something fruity or citrusy. So what are they? It could be like a dry lemongrass, could be sumac, has a nice citrusy flavor. It could be anything with like orange peel, lemon peel, anything citrusy. So those are going to add a very nice fruitiness or like a little tangy touch on your blend. That's going to be fantastic too. Then we can use the pungent spice. With those, you gotta be careful of how much you're going to do on your blend, because you can easily make,
take the whole blend
and mess up the whole blend because you use too much out of it. So the pungent spice are referring like cardamom, such as cardamom, like very strong flavor.
If you add too much to it, that's it. It will taste your cardamom.
Exactly. Cardamom, star anise.
Okay.
Like that's cardamom right there.
Yeah.
So cardamom, star anise, there is spices also like clove, which is a very strong spice, so you gotta be careful of how much you use on those kind of spice. And then the last touch will be the hot spice. So obviously they are like chili pepper, any kind of peppercorn, mustard seed, wasabi, anything like this. And again, depending on where you wanna take your blend at, then you will adjust the heat level.
If you want to use the heat to just bring all the spices up, or
there
you want the heat to just overpower the other spices.
Exactly. Depending. So
it's all about balance.
It's all about balance. To have, if you want like a good balanced blend, most likely we'll say we use like 50% of the Armageddon spice, which is the base. Then you can go like 25% of the sweet spice, and then goes the tangies around 15. So 50, 25, 15, and then the two last, which is pungent and heat and hot spice, will be the last two.
Okay, that would be great to actually share with everybody. We're going to share it on our Instagram, or we can share it on Facebook too. Just to share that.
To understand,
so you can play around.
To understand is that's why I want people to understand how from scratch we do a spice blend and why we use that much of spice. It's very important to understand that. So according to those proportions, at the end, we are going to get a result like this, which is a curry with a lot of different colors. Because with some, the turmeric will have more, the yellow one will be more turmeric.
Paprika will be more red.
The orange, we got 5 colors right there. We got the yellow curry, we got the orange curry, we got the black curry, the white curry, and the green curry. In general, the yellow curry are mild, they are not too spicy. So today we are going to have 4 different yellow curry, which will be the Indian Madras curry, the Colombo from the West Indies, the Masala, which is from next to Madagascar, the Mauritius Island, and the Ras El Hanout, which is a famous Moroccan curry.
Wow.
So those are the yellow curry one. They are very mild. In general, they are very good for vegetables,
Okay.
On poultry, on lamb, and also they can be used also with sauce, like a sauce dish, like a good curry, but like mixed with like a yogurt or like some coconut milk. So they definitely a good call.
Are the colors represent any particular country with the curries? Are there, let's say Thailand is famous for their yellow curries. Pakistan is famous for the black curries.
Right.
Do we have that or no?
Yes and no, I'm going to say. For example, Thai, the Indian, the yellow, most of them, but you can have, the Indian, I get the orange one, which is the Bombay, because it has a lot of chili into it.
Okay.
But I won't say there is like a color for
different regions. No.
I won't say that, but I will say more like depending in India, for example, if you go north, the food will be mild. More south you going, more spicy it will be. Up to Sri Lanka, if you go to Sri Lanka, which is like not even in India, but always South India, they are the most spicy curry. Yeah.
That's why you go to a Thai restaurant or Indian restaurant, they ask you how spicy you want it.
Right.
So you go, yeah.
Right. And then usually the Thai curry are used, the Thai use more like fresh ingredients into it, like fresh lemongrass, fresh ginger roots, fresh, so it's more brighter, it's less.
More the paste.
More the paste, exactly.
So India is more the powder. So.
Indian is more the powder, and the way how Indian does, they first roasted the spice, and then they ground it, and then they do in powder, and they do the powder and they do the mix. But again, for the roasted technique,
so I asked you a question, if I should toast my powder,
right?
So you said no. It's just because the spices are already toasted. You don't need to actually toast them.
Exactly, some are already toasted, so it's not needed to do it.
Okay.
But again, I'm going to explain you after at the end the real reason why, and it's then like when you do the roasted technique spice or not, it's just change of hand. I'm going to try to make you understand more about that.
Okay.
So today the 10 different curry that we have on the yellow curry side, we are going to start with the first one, which is the classic Indian Madras curry. So the Madras, that's definitely the classic Indian curry one, is from obviously Madras. It's not a very spicy curry. Interesting enough is in India, the recipe are very kept from the family. They don't share recipe. It's like a secret on the for them.
This is my secret.
This is your secret.
This is my secret.
That's what they do. I mean, most of the time. And in fact, there is like, and also a blend could depend on the wealth of the people.
Okay.
So if they are more wealthy, obviously, the wealthy family have a curry specialist. It is called, in fact, the curry specialist, the Masala. That's the name of it. So he is the one.
Like the sommelier. He's like
the
the curator of the
curry.
spices.
That's right. He's the one for obviously for the wealthy family who's preparing like all the different spices and then he's cooking for them. He's taking care of the house, but at the same time he's on the spice blend.
Curating the blend and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Madras, it's a mild curry. I was saying. Very great on poultry, very great on vegetables. It's mild curry, so you know you can very play with it, and also it can also be used with a fresh vegetable on the side, like pineapple or mango.
Oh, wow.
That's very interesting because it balances, the flavor of the blend. The second curry that we're going to talk is the Masala Curry. So the Masala Curry is from Mauritius Island, and there is a small tiny island south next to Madagascar. It's called La Réunion. It's a very small French island.
It's a French island.
French island.
Okay.
So La Réunion and the Mauritius Island, which is a tiny bit bigger than also next to La Réunion. So this one is coming from over there. It was back from the 18th century. That was when the first Indian immigrant moved to that part of it was not too far from India. They moved over there, so the Indian immigrant moved over there and they ded their own spice mix.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. It has like a touch of, we are more on the ginger side, tiny bit more spicy than the Madras, so there is more like ginger on it. It is a blend, that's the blend that they use for the traditional dish, the biryani rice, which is a Hindu Muslim dish, biryani rice. So it's like a roasted rice with like dry peanuts, and it's just fantastic, but it is like traditional blend. They do like that kind of dish mainly for wedding, okay, you know, that kind of thing. So it's very flavorful. Also, it could be used on sauce. Okay. And with either like plain yogurt or like some sort of like milk or butter or anything. That's also a good call to use this one. But again, it's a tiny bit more spicy than the Madras. We have a touch of ginger into it. Goes well on like basically on vegetables, on poultry, and like a sauce dish, and to do your famous biryani rice. Yeah.
Biryani rice.
Biryani rice.
Yeah. I'll try that one.
Yeah, that traditional rice is just amazing. Okay. The third curry that we are going to see, it's called Ras el Hanout. I'm saying with the Arabic accent.
Ras el Hanout.
Ras el Hanout. So the Ras el Hanout, it's the signification, the Arabic signification means the head of a store. So it is the head of a store, right? So it is referring to what is the best spice a spice vendor can offer.
This is my blend.
Exactly.
This is my premium.
That's the one that you gotta be proud out of it.
Did you have one? Do you have
yes, one? We are doing
I want to try that one.
We are doing our Ras el Hanout, of course, that's from Mondepis. For those who receive samples, you just can open it right now and please just have a smell of it.
So you have that one already though?
We have one, yeah, we have that one. I have sent for the people who have received the sample. For the one who didn't receive yet, we will start shipping again the free sample tomorrow. Flavor-wise, as soon as you're going to open it, you're gonna have that fresh, beautiful flavor of coriander seed, crushed coriander seeds. So that's my coriander seeds right there. If you crush them, you get, so right there you won't feel it. If you crush it, you can just use it and crush it. You're gonna have that just amazing flavor of it. Alors, the Ras el Hanout, it is super good to be used. They use for tagine. The tagine, that's the traditional Moroccan dish, which is like sweet. They use a lot of dried fruits into it with maybe like couscous and then any kind of meat like lamb or chicken. It could be used also on meatball if you guys are doing meatball. See that fragrance?
Amazing.
So that's what you feel when you get the hazelnut. We use a lot of coriander. There is cumin. There is coriander. On the hazelnut, there is some part of the recipe as like the same blend, the same spice used into it, like turmeric, coriander, cinnamon, green anise. So those are the base. But some of the people who made the Ras el Hanout, they can use up to 70 spices into that blend. 70 spices.
These are very secret spices. The more I use,
exactly.
You won't get mine. How many are you? How many?
We have 21 on our spice.
You got 21.
21, but I won't say if you use as like it's not about a matter of like how much you use. You know what I mean? It's like
it's your blend. How you blend.
It's just you just gotta find the right balance and just feel like, okay, this is it.
Like one sommelier, can you take a spice blend and actually smell it and taste it and kind of
trying to detect one of the other?
Can you do that?
It could be. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, because again you go back to the.
To that though, you told me.
Exactly, the specificity of a spice blend and what is the base of that blend, what is more the sweet one, and you can feel, and that's how you detect, your blend. The last yellow curry that we are going to talk will be the Colombo Spice. So this one is from the West Indies. It appeared.
This one is spicy.
It's a little bit more spicy. It appeared in the 19th century. It was from the British that moved from the West Indies. It is very similar than the Jamaican curry.
Okay.
So it's next to it. There is like two small French islands.
It's the one that they use for the jerk chicken.
The jerk chicken. The jerk is the jerk is like another blend, another like Jamaican job, it is different, but there is also like the Jamaican curry.
Okay.
So the Jamaican curry are very similar than the Colombo, which is the one I'm talking right now. They were brought from the English back on the 19th century, you know, like Jamaica and you know.
Okay.
Flavor-wise, they are less pungent than the Indian curry, than the Madras, but they're brighter, more turmeric juice into it. They are super good to do over there. They do the famous Colombo dish. So it's like a good roasted chicken, you know, and used as a curry dish, Colombo dish. Could be used on seafood.
Okay.
Fantastic on seafood, on white fish. And again, also that's a very good curry to make sauce with it.
Great.
Very nice curry to make sauce. Next curry that we are going to talk will be the black Nepalese curry.
Which is this one right here?
That's the one right. The black Nepalese curry, it has a
smoky.
Exactly. It has that
You guys want to smell it? No, I'm just kidding.
that interesting flavor, which is a smoky, sweet, and spicy. It is also spicy. So it's from Nepal, Kathmandu, Nepal. So the blend, the color white is becoming black. Number one, spicy.
Amazing. It's really good.
Number one is we use the curry leaf to make that blend. We are roasted the leaf. The leaf are being roasted. We use what we call the nigella seed. The nigella seed is referring to the black cumin.
Okay.
It's used after there is another pepper from Nepal called the long pepper. So it has his name for his reason, because the pepper is obviously like it's a long pepper one. Flavor-wise, that pepper, you start with a sweet flavor like hazelnut and takes you after from the heat level. So it's a combination of like roasted black curry leaf, roasted curry leaf, nigella, the Nepalese long pepper. There is a bit of ginger, there's some smoky. It is a bit spicy. Now that kind of
Just open all my breath. Open now.
that kind of curry is very good for a beef stew meat or beef curry. Like it's much more robust, much more stronger flavor than the yellow one. It could be used also on roasted vegetables, on roasted fish.
Yeah, he actually calls me for a lot of roast for barbecue,
Exactly.
for charcoal, for wood.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. You can do a good tip with that one. You can roast it first.
Mushrooms, a lot of umami.
Yeah, very healthy. That's why it is. Very healthy. Yeah, you're right. But it is very, very, very unique flavor. That's for sure. Then we're going to do with our two orange curry. The first orange curry, the curry from India, a little bit more southwest, which is the city of Mumbai, which is Bombay in English. So it is more spicy than Madras. So it's kind of like a Madras curry base with more chili into it and cayenne pepper into it. Usually like a spicy curry like this one could be used on grilling meat, any kind of meat that you want to grill.
Okay.
But also like on rice, that could be a good curry use on rice. And yeah, any saute meat, rice, any like, that kind of flavor I think would be a good thing. The last one that we're going to talk, which is one of my favorites, so it's called the curry suya. The curry suya is from Africa, West Africa, from Nigeria to be exact. So this one, I first import the original blend, and when I received the blend, to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. It was lacking some character.
The character.
Yeah,
it was
flat to me. When I received the blend, it was very flat. So I'm like, all right. So I'm not very happy about that one.
That's how spices are. If they get the turn point, and when they just
yeah, that's right, and then that's it. So this blend, it's the mix of it. It has peanuts, brown peanuts. So for those who are allergic, that might be not a good one. But so it's a mix with ground peanuts, turmeric, smoked paprika, garlic, cayenne, white pepper.
Wow.
This is the best curry ever if you like doing grilling meat. Period. If you do a skirt steak, a ribeye, or whatever you like, do a marinade overnight. Bit of olive oil, put your a good amount of suya pepper on both sides of the meat. Leave it on the fridge. Next day, if you have a barbecue at home, do your grilling.
Oh,
amazing.
I'm going to do that this weekend.
Amazing. But again, you know, we have done this one from scratch. We use just the plain ground peanuts.
So you're doing it now from scratch, you're not?
From scratch. For some of them, we like to import, like the Madras is directly from India.
Okay.
But for most, the Nepalese is from directly in Nepal, and the white curry is also from Thailand. But on the other one, well, we are doing almost all the other one.
Oh, and how do you source your spices? You got them from, you got your spices?
Spice connection, we got, I got in fact 2 of my family members that does that as a job.
Oh, wow.
They're traveling the world. One of them, you know, every year I get in touch with him all the time. Right now,
then you go and talk to the spice broker.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
That's what he does. He's visiting. That's how we found the white curry.
White curry is amazing.
That's how we found the white curry because he was traveling a lot. And I'm going to talk about the white curry right now.
We're actually going to use the white curry in our recipe today. So
3 more curry to go. The green Thai curry. So, like I was telling you before, the green curry are made out of any fresh, dry herbs. It could be fresh herbs, or it could be dry.
Green herbs.
Anything
that you have green. Dill, cilantro, culantro.
You got it. Just
basil.
Up to moringa now, which is a new thing. Yeah. The one that we use, so it is I'm going to say a tiny bit spicy because we use some white pepper. I don't know if you ever tried white pepper before. It's a very interesting pepper because you're going to feel the heat without burning you.
Yeah.
It's going to be there. You're going to notice it.
But it's not going to burn you.
But it's not going to burn you. So you're going to have to it's kind of pleasant at the end. So it's going to be a contrast. Our green curry will be a contrast with a large citrusy flavor. We got some lemongrass. We got some kaffir lime leaf, dry leaf. We got some lemon peel, dry lemon peel, a bit of ginger, a bit of garlic, fennel seeds, and the white pepper. That had a little kick on it. So usually those kind of curries, especially the green curry, goes for a good fish, good white fish, something more lighter, or vegetables. A salad dressing could be used, and definitely a good fish could be used, like a papillote fish, you know, like a wrapping, baking. That could be definitely a good call. The curry wasabi, which is the next curry, so that will be actually the one right here. The curry wasabi, also it's a creation from us. The challenge of making that spice blend is to try to get the both flavor on the same time, right? So you want to have a curry that a blend that on the same time tastes curry, but on the same time tastes wasabi, right? So we got to try to find the right balance out of it. It's a little bit spicy. It is a curry blend that could be used if you like doing for soup, like a ramen soup, or noodles, or a fried rice, or vegetables one. That's a fantastic one. So technically, it's a yellow curry base with wasabi. We use also the nori, which is the Japanese seaweed, a little bit of onion flakes. So it's like a well balanced, a little bit spicy, obviously, because they have wasabi.
That's amazing.
And
that's amazing.
Right?
Wow.
And the balance, you know, that's what we're gonna try to find, the right balance.
And then you know this, and and that's where you come, and that's where, you know, why you call a spice master, because you got all these spices, and you have wasabi, but wasabi doesn't actually kills all the spice flavors.
Right.
So you get the sweet, you get the pinch,
right.
You get the spice on it. It's amazing.
Okay. Try to find the right balance all the time. So that's the challenge of making the spice blend. And then the last curry will be the white curry, which is Rafael is going to do that beautiful lobster tail with the white curry with it. It is a fantastic one. So this is our new baby. This one was found with my cousin, which is working for the family and is traveling the world.
Looking for the best spices.
So that curry was found in a fish market in Thailand, on the west of Bangkok, a small town called Ratchaburi. So I don't know if you ever see it sometimes on those documentaries, those fish boat markets. That's where it was found. They were making like a shrimp donuts with that beautiful white curry into it. And of course, when you try the beautiful donuts with that unique flavor, because this is what the white curry has. It has just a unique flavor. When you have a bite of it, so you gotta, you feel of course the seafood shrimp kind of flavor, and then you get the curry and at the same time the sweetness of it, and it goes also like a donut. But he was not sure what was it.
I have to tell you guys that I was in Puerto Rico this past month, and we always go to our town. It's called Cabo Rojo in the south, in the west actually, in the west part of the island. We get to have the pleasure to go visit a friend there. His house is right on the water, so we go fishing. Depends on how many drinks we have the night before or not. We send somebody or we actually go. But we always bring lobsters and fish and all that. And we've been doing this for like 3-4 years, right? So I always bring my secret stuff. And this year I brought my white curry. I got some chili peppers from Thailand, and I got some of your black salt, smoked black salt. Yeah. So that was actually that was my luggage. If you had to, I would love you guys to see my luggage. My wife always laughs at me because I'm going to the beach, so I'm just carrying a little bag with a bathing suit, my flip-flops, a t-shirt, and my white curry and my black salt. This is true story. And then I had a surprise for everybody. So we got some lobsters, and I made this dish I'm gonna make tonight. And I would have loved to have actually a camera and take pictures of people there, because everybody was blown away because it's a completely different flavor. So it's like when you have a different flavor, and we taste something very different that actually just blows our minds away. It's amazing. Right. And that white curry, that's where it is. That's where it is. Amazing.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely what it is. It's the yellow curry base. You got a nice touch of sweetness. So it's technically a base. It's yellow curry base with a garlic use, ginger use, cane sugar.
But there's no turmeric in it, right? That's why it's so.
It has a bit of turmeric, but not of course as much than the yellow one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is it all about the 10 different curry that we have today. Now we are going to go over, like, surprising enough, when you use and eat curry, it could be healthy in a way.
Beautiful. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm going to use the word may because I don't want to say from one day to another you're going to be, like clean and better. But
if you're eating your ribeye every day with the curry, don't think that your cholesterol levels are going to be low. Of course, they're going to be high. But if you eat actually your curries and the vegetables, and then you have a pretty well balanced diet, for sure it's going to help improve your health. Right. So all these spices, that's what they do.
That's what it is. So as you know, the curry, the part of the main ingredient is made of turmeric. Mm-hmm. So the turmeric is obviously one of the most, or it is maybe the most healthy spices. Mm-hmm. The reason why is inside the turmeric there is a small, what they call active compound. That's what creates a good effect to your body. Mm-hmm. And the kind of effect that it does, it could be good for your inflammation, it could be good for the digestive system, it could be, improve your health level, your blood pressure and everything. On top of that, if you do a curry mix, it's a mix of different spices. If the turmeric is being used with either black pepper, ginger, or cayenne, it's going to increase the active
absorption. The absorption of your body.
Exactly, and it's going to increase the effect of it about by 2 or by 3 times more. Yeah. So that's very interesting.
So that's black pepper?
Either black pepper or cayenne pepper or ginger. Okay. Usually they say black pepper, but I believe anything spicy, so it could be black pepper, it could be chili flakes, cayenne, anything spicy, or the ginger one. Right. By mixing that with turmeric, you increase the effect of it. So that's pretty amazing. So part of the benefits and the risks, first one, of course, like we said, they are anti-inflammatory properties. So obviously that's what we talk. For two reasons: one, for the turmeric, because it's the best for inflammation, and 2, also because the chili, when you use a chili pepper, also have an active compound which is called capsaicin. And the capsaicin has also the same effect on the curcumin, which is good for inflammation. Very interesting. The other thing that is good, it could be good for what we call the heart health, for the heart. So obviously, in a way, the spice mix is going to boost your blood flow.
So there's a correlation, and I've read a lot about this, between all these countries that do eat very heavily on spices,
right,
and all the heart diseases and stuff like that. They're much lower than
definitely
around the world.
Yeah.
Where Americans, we don't. I mean, I want to say we, but I actually have to take myself out of that because I do eat a lot of spices.
Right.
But we in the U.S. don't. We just use salt and pepper.
Right.
We don't use a lot of spices.
Right.
So there's definitely a lot of studies, and this is true.
Right. Yeah. That's just the benefit. So again, it's just study that was being made on human or animals that show that, but there is a lot of studies that show that. So at the end, it's just
pharmaceutical companies, they hate that.
Right.
So anybody from a pharmaceutical company watching us today, you're gonna hate it, but it's completely true. This is healthier. This is much better. This is the world of medicine. This is
natural.
what actually cures people. This is what cures people.
It is natural. That's why it is. One of the other effects that is good, and again, because of turmeric, it has an anti-cancer effect.
Mm-hmm.
The anti-cancer effect, again, the curcumin, which is the active compound from the turmeric, is known as it has a potent cancer-fighting properties. In fact, it induces cancer cells death and inhibit the spread of cancer cells by suppressing specific signaling pathway into the body. So it's kind of like detecting what is the good cells and not, and fighting the bad ones.
And this is the what, the cayenne pepper?
The turmeric.
The turmeric.
The turmeric.
Amazing.
Turmeric effect. So anti-cancer effect. It contains powerful antioxidants. So the antioxidants are basically like compounds that help prevent cell damage caused by reactive molecules. So that's pretty amazing too. It may help the lower blood sugar level. Okay. So it lower in a way your blood sugar level. It may improve the brain health.
So this is actually an investment for your health, guys.
Yeah.
Stop spending money in the pharmacy and come and buy this guy Master Spices, all these blends to help you with your health. It's completely true.
It is what it is. Another interesting health property will be it may improve feeling of fullness. So what does that mean? A lot of study was showing that if you eat a meal and you consume about 6 to 12 grams of curry powder, right? So you get a meal and you use about
big plate with the big rice and
right.
the big sauce.
So if you use that, there is a lot of study that shows that it reduces significantly your anger. Means once you eat that, you don't want to eat anymore, you feel good. Versus to other people that eat maybe other kind of dish and everything, they will still feeling maybe after like why I want to eat again. So that's it has it in a way like improve the feeling of fullness, which is very good. And the two last properties that are good, they are what we call antifungal and antibacterial properties. Especially because we have two spices and we use on doing all those beautiful spice blend, which is cumin seeds or cumin and coriander. And those two spices have specifically those antibacterial properties. So they fight anything that your body can have some sort of bacteria.
So we have already the COVID here, please. Come on, Francois, come on. You can bring the COVID. We have it already, guys. It's coming. Keep tuned, and we're almost there.
I will say maybe. And then the last one of the effect, very important, will be it will boost your digestive health. Okay. And again, mainly because of the turmeric and the curcumin effect, definitely good for it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, like all the benefits that you can have. So, voilà, and then I'm almost done. 7:55. We good with the timing?
We're great. I think we should cheers first.
Thank you guys for watching us. Thank you for Vecinos Market to having us right there.
Now you can get all these spice blends, all these curries, and whatever you think of through us and on the spice. So So yeah.
One more thing or two more things. How to choose a curry powder.
That's a great one.
Right? How we choose a curry powder.
Because you don't want to go to the supermarket and get the big branch
Well,
curry powder there. I mean, that's...
Alors, it's a good point that you are saying about that. Talking about spice that you can find in the supermarket, there is two things very, very important to know. The first thing is the huge amount of salt that they use in their spice blend.
Mm-hmm.
Why they do that? Because salt is just cheaper and it makes the powder more heavy. So they use salt. On top of that, when it was spice blend, they use anything but sometimes not even spice into it. So they use the kind of like the flavoring, type of. Sometimes, obviously, if you go in the supermarket and I'm not gonna talk about different brands, but look in the labels sometimes, and I gotta tell you that they use a lot of just bad things, chemicals. Why? Because it's just cheaper and everything. What we do here in Nepalese is pretty simple. We import from small farmers from all over the world, number one. Number two, once we are receiving our spices, two things. We don't do a blend in big quantity. The reason why is we don't want the blend to lose the flavor.
You do small batches.
Small batches, always at the time.
What do you think, how long you think you should keep your spice blends or spices and that you consider fresh?
Alors,
it's like the same thing. Like I consider fresh a fish that I caught yesterday and I cooked today. Tomorrow, for me, it's not fresh anymore.
No, yeah.
So what is the time?
There is different things. If it's from a whole spice, which is that kind of spice, like the whole cardamom.
If it's not being toasted and grinded.
If it's not being grinded, you can keep it probably for like 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah. As soon as it has been grinded, it can be probably be kept for 12 months to 18 months.
12 to 18.
Now it's going to be very important of how you store your spices and where you store your spices.
Okay.
And how, that's also where I'm going to go to right now. So what is a quality spice blend? That's very important to know. So the spices are coming exactly from the same way that we do the agricultural step-by-step process. That's the same way. So what is the different steps? So first is being grown, is being harvested, processed, traded, right? Blended, packaged, stored, distributed, sold, and then consumed. So all those different steps. You see that? So it has been harvested, processed, shredded, blended, packaged, stored, distributed, sold it, and then consumed. It's about 5 or 10 different steps between where it's coming from to our plate. It's huge. So, what does it tell you by saying that? Is in all between you can lose
the freshness.
The freshness by the way how it's being handled, by the way how it's being stored, by the way how it's being packaged. It has a lot of different steps, and in between, it could be a good spice, and at the end, it's going to be a bad spice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is what we are doing. Part of our family that goes around the world for 4 generations. They are just making sure that they are all the providers with who we are working with. They are respecting all those steps. So you go
directly to the harvest?
That's what we do. Part of the family, that's what we do. We go to the harvest. We go from scratch over there. We're making sure the technical harvest also is very interesting how they do it. And then how it's being packed, how it's being stored, how it's being shipped, how it's being, all those processes.
I have a question for you. What country harvests the best spices?
Any tropical countries will be the best. Any country which has a lot of humidity level. So the best, any country have good spices. You know what I mean? If you go in Indonesia, they have amazing pepper. If you go to India, they have a lot of amazing chili flakes. Any spices have like.
And if I have to ask Francois, what is your number one spice that if they're going to take the whole spices on the world and they're going to leave you one, what would be that one? One. What would be that one?
One in my island.
They're going to take all the spices away.
Say
Curries, the spice blend,
I might keep the healthy one, the turmeric one.
Turmeric.
Just in case.
Crazy, yeah. Actually, turmeric, if you the flavor profile of turmeric is amazing because it got the bitterness, it has the sweetness.
And you can make drinks out of it, like healthy drinks, like the golden milk.
The golden milk.
With almond milk and turmeric.
Yeah.
So another thing very important from where it's coming from the soil, from the climatic condition, from the harvesting technique, it all going to contribute of a quality spice, right? But there is no way for us to control that. Another thing that is very interesting to know is you can get the same spice. I'm going to take the example of paprika. It could be harvested more or less the same way, but in two different places, and it's going to be totally different. For example, you get the Hungarian paprika versus the Spanish paprika. The same plant, the same chili, two different flavors.
One is more pungent.
It is exactly. The paprika is more pungent. The Spanish one is more pungent. The Hungarian is more earthy, more nutty.
So it's a climate. It all depends on the one.
It is exactly the same way than the wine. From the soil and climatic condition, the harvesting technique, exactly the same thing than wine. And then the last thing, like we were telling before, the storage and transportation. That's what affects also spices quality. So you know how it's being stored.
So you want to store spices with a lot of humidity, or you want dry? You want cold? You want heat? How do you want to store spices?
That's exactly.
I know you don't want light.
This is my next chapter right there. So you gotta understand one thing. When you got the spice, especially the whole spice, they got in the cell structure of the spice there is what we call the volatile oil.
Okay.
So if you get the cinnamon stick, for example, you get it like this, they don't smell it. As soon as you start to crush them, you start to smell it. That's why we call the volatile oil and release the flavor,
so
right?
That's
how they release the flavor. So how we are going to do to protect that? To protect and try to conserve those beautiful oil and flavors, right? Number one, if you get depending your packaging, if you get, for example, those pouch bag with the zip, the zip into it, as soon you use it, when you close up your bag, make sure to remove as much as possible of air and oxygen.
So oxygen
is going to oxidize your spice and take over the oil. So
basically, oxygen is like all kinds of food. Is it number one?
Exactly.
Except for hams and stuff like that, and cheeses. Oxygen is probably our number one enemy.
It is. Okay. For the spice blend, for the spices.
It actually works. Then if you could actually take all these, curries and then kind of vacuum pack them.
Right.
It works. It actually helps too.
Right. That's definitely how it is. The other thing very important: keep your spices away from extreme heat, light, and humidity. Keep them away from that. Heat, light, humidity, you don't want that. Also, let's say in the kitchen, try to not put your spices around anything that's producing heat, such as oven, fridge, microwave, that kind of stuff. You don't want to put the spices around those because in a way, with the time, even if you are not noticing that, the fridge makes the heat in the back. So that's the kind of thing.
And just buy small quantities. It's like everything. Buy small quantities, use them, and then buy more.
That's what it is.
Try, explore.
Exactly, that's what it is. Once, all the time, when you use your spice blend, don't be shy to just open your bag, have a smell, and smell it.
And I want to tell this to everybody. Because a lot of people say, kitchen is getting boring, the food is getting boring. Guys, the only way you're going to make food taste different is with spices. The chicken is going to taste like chicken. The same chicken you're buying at the supermarket is going to taste the same if you cook it the same way forever. Just buy spices and start exploring. So you taste and you teach how to eat better and how to explore these beautiful, amazing flavors. Right?
No, that's all about that. It's being curious, not being shy of just trying and testing.
Yeah.
Then like we talked before, any of the whole spice are more or less good for like 3 years, like at least 3 years use. Any spice product could be used between a year to a year and a half, more or less. That's more or less the average.
Like my mom cabinet. You open the mom cabinet, you look at wow, mom, you've been preserving the spice since I was born, 1977.
I don't think they could. All right. So cooking about with curry. Alors, when I came here,
What you gonna teach me now?
yeah, when I came here with Rafael, and he was telling me, oh, are you doing the roasted? Are you roasted your spices or not? So here is the thing. So even if a lot of cooks may say that once you start roasting your spices, that's where you're going to get more flavor out of it.
It's just like getting the old house, but that's whole spice.
The answer to me, it's wrong.
Wow.
The answer to me is wrong. I'm going to tell you why.
I went to the Culinary Institute of America and they told me that.
It is wrong.
And I paid so much money, so I'm going to the Culinary Institute
So
of
let me give you a very simple example. You're going to get 2 slices of bread,
Okay.
right? You're going to slice one slice of bread, put it in a plate. The other slice of bread, you're going to toast it and then put it back in a plate.
Okay.
What will be the difference between the one is toasted and the one is not toasted? So obviously the one toasted is toasted and the other one is not, right?
Yep.
Makes sense.
Completely.
So it works exactly the same way for spice mix.
I see completely.
It works exactly the same way. So it does not mean if you roasted your spices it will be more flavorful.
It's different.
It will be just different.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to explain you.
And also you gotta be careful because there's a lot of sugars in these spices. So if you know how to roast them and then you start toasting them, you kind of burn them and then you completely take the flavor. And the whole work that this guy did,
It's ruining.
making his best blind spice blend, you completely ruin it.
It's ruined. That's why it is. So technically, what we can recommend here to roast your spices, it will be better if you are planning to cook a good beef curry dish. Anything with beef, anything healthy. The reason why is because your blend, when it's roasted, is going to be much more pungent, much more robust, much more strong. So you want a good, like a good beef stew meat, cook with that, and your blend will be fantastic. On the opposite, if you want to cook something lighter, like a good white fish or seafood, or like nice vegetables, you don't want to especially roast the blend. You just leave it as it is, Exactly, it's less pungent.
Of course, if you do a paste, you have to cook the paste first. This is basically the curry paste is like our sofrito. It's the base of the dish with fresh ingredients, right?
Right. That's why it is.
That's why it is. We call it different. It's our sofrito in our world. Is our curry basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's it. So the way I was telling for the roasted technique, the way to do it is you want to have a very hot pan, very hot. It has to be very hot first. Once it's hot enough, you start putting your spice into it. Then you mix them slowly. You're going to start to see the fume coming out.
The oils that actually come and start releasing from the spices.
Exactly. All the oil will come, you're going to feel it right away. And then even the color is going to change and be a little bit more brownish.
Yep.
That's good enough. Just turn off your pan, put your spice on the side, and you're good to go. And grind them. You can grind them if it's the whole spice. You can also toast it from the powder.
Okay.
Yeah. If you toast your spices and planning to cook them later, they're only good for 2 or 3 days. No more than that. Because you release the oil. They're only good for 2 or 3 days. After that, they are not. They cannot be used then. For them, it's not very worth it. Okay, guys. One more thing about as a curry tips thing. So we can do the powder. Like a good simple things to make it. It's from the powder. You technically, so it could be roasted or not roasted depending of your dish, right? Then you're going to incorporate your oil, so olive oil, coconut, any kind of oil, peanut oil, sesame oil. Right.
We're gonna do that. We're actually gonna do that now. So you can keep explaining them, and we're gonna do it.
And then, so once you start doing that, you're going to incorporate your fresh ingredients like garlic, onions, scallion, ginger, whatever you like. You can do again like a slow cooking thing.
No cooking.
If you wanna keep the blend very condensed, leave it as it is. If you wanna do it a little bit lighter, in this case, you can add a bit of either coconut milk, which is the Thai does that a lot.
We're gonna do a little Thai. Thai twist.
Coconut milk. You can use yogurt. You can also use tomato, chopped tomato or tomato paste. Then once you have done that, you incorporate your vegetables or meat or fish. You respect the falling cooking time for that. And the last touch that could be nice at the end, you can sprinkle of, depends of the dish, but the last little touch could be nice, like with some dry fruits or depending on the dish, or like
dry berries,
almond, walnuts, and everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. All right, so now we are going to do basically like the curry
So
paste.
we're gonna do the cooking, and we're gonna show you how to do a fresh curry paste, which is actually like what we learned today.
Right.
The base of old Thai curry cuisine, right?
Yeah, basically, they start from
That I learned today. Well, actually, I learned that many years ago. When I actually had to do that shopping for many hours for many ingredients to do a curry paste. So why don't we start with that?
With the paste, yeah.
I'm gonna start here. So I just have my fire here at medium heat. So whoever has the box that we know, and thank you guys. Thank you all the people that got the box to cook our lobster. That we actually gonna be doing from now on many times as a big request. So your box, you could buy your box at Vecinos Market. Actually, you can buy it anytime, and we're gonna show you how to do the recipe. So if you miss it today and you don't have your box today, I'm so sorry. You could try it by your eyes. If you bought your box today, so we're gonna start cooking pretty soon. So hold your family. We're gonna cook pretty soon. This cooks very fast. But in the meantime, he's gonna show us how to do the paste. So go ahead and.
So I'm gonna do the paste. Just before that, doing the paste, we have sent samples to people as fish samples for people, to have to enjoy the experience on the same time that we are on live. Unfortunately, I know that we had some requests after that. It was kind of a bit too late for us to ship that on time. But I mean, it's not really too late. Just send us an email again, and starting tomorrow, we're gonna start sending back the free sample. Another thing too is we have that beautiful box right here. So it will feature technically 9 of our most popular curry blend. They are about 4 to 5 ounce tin each. So we got a great deal right there for this one. First of all, it's only on sale on vecinosmarket.com. This box is not even available on our website. Number 2 is we are giving a great deal for that box. The value of that one is usually $110 when we offer a 30% discount for you guys with a free shipping and a whole copy of the class that will come with the package. So take advantage of that.
For $10 more, you have me go to your house and cook your lobster. We can talk about that.
All right, so we are gonna do the paste. I mean, it's a basic paste. It could be used with any kind of those curry right there. I guess I'm gonna get maybe the yellow one or whatever, just like an example for the people to see. So the way to do the paste is very easy to make it. I'm going to use a chopped white onion, right? So we're going to use that into the little blender right there. We use about a small one, more or less, right?
So you can actually do this and then you use the white curry and we can use it in the lobster?
Well, we can do it with the white curry.
Yeah, let's do it. So
with the white curry?
Yeah, then we use it in the lobster.
Sounds good, yeah.
Perfect.
So we do, maybe. So I use more or less like a small of white onion, garlic clove. I got a clove and a half. It depends. If you guys love more garlic, then you can use more. If you guys do less, it's all about proportion and taste. Just a bit of fresh garlic clove. And again, those are the base, but you can add anything you like with scallion, with shallot, with cilantro, you know, like you can really play with anything. So those are the two fresh ingredients. I'm going to incorporate my white curry into it. So with that one, we can use at least.
Oh, I love that stuff.
We got we got three tails, so it's about at least 4 tablespoons.
Do it. I love that stuff. Oh.
3
There you go.
and 4. We're gonna use 4 tablespoons because
I love it.
because we love it. And then we're gonna use a bit of olive oil.
Here it is.
Yeah. Probably a good amount of it.
No?
Yeah, I think we're good.
And if you don't have olive oil, can you use coconut oil and any other
Exactly.
oil?
Any kind of oil that you guys prefer, that's totally good with it. The texture of the paste is just a matter of how you guys like it. If you want it very thick, you can leave it as it is. If you want the paste a tiny bit lighter, you can, you know, like, you can do probably a little bit of maybe like water, a bit of water into it.
A little bit of water.
Yeah. It's just a matter of how you like your paste. If it's thick, leave it as it is. If you want a tiny bit more liquid, then add the water or the milk or the yogurt or something creamy into it. Talking to us.
Alright, so I'm going to start doing my thing over here. I'm going to add some olive oil. And I have my lobster shells, which I want to actually start cooking because this is going to be part of my broth. So I'm going to cook the lobster tails. I want to just roast them a little bit. Now you can have your one. Now it's my turn. Okay, guys? Actually, both turns. So I'm going to roast my shells. Beautiful. Again, the beautiful thing about cooking is that you could play around and you could do whatever you want. Whoever told you there's a way or there's a process to it, don't even listen to it.
That's right.
Cooking is the way you can express yourself on the stove.
Well,
I do it myself, and actually sometimes it does pretty well, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time people are happy. So
that's how you learn.
that's how you learn. Exactly. So, and then why I like to roast my shells is because when I put the stock into it, I put the water to it, it gives me a very nutty flavor on my sauce. So I love to roast my shells. Right? So it's pretty roast now. So I'm gonna add. Can I add this now? We can treat this like a sofrito, right?
Definitely, yeah. Could use as it is fried.
So you told me that I had to be on. Oh, look at that. Oh, the smell of it.
So you're singing together.
Whoever is doing the recipe with me in your house, and you were smart enough that you got our box. You know what I mean, right? Smell is it's amazing. So you want to actually cook the paste, right? So you actually, when you're cooking the paste, you're actually taking all the moisture out of the paste and making the flavors more pungent, more strong, right?
Pungent, yeah. So that's why it is, yeah.
That's the whole purpose of it, right?
Right.
So I had some ginger already chopped, so I'm gonna add my ginger.
Right.
I love garlic, so I'm gonna add more garlic to it. I have some onions already chopped, so I'm gonna add them too. It's basically all the same ingredients that I use for the paste. I've had them too, so I'm gonna just roast them. I'm gonna sear them. I'm gonna saute them here. Smells so good. I have some bay leaves. You mind if I add some bay leaves?
Sure. Okay.
You mind if I add them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I have some Thai pepper over here. Let's give them that.
A little kick.
A kick. Amazing pepper. Thai pepper.
Nice.
So again, we're gonna Cook it here for a little bit. And just because I said, and that's why I said what I said just a minute ago, because kitchen is what you want to do, how you want to express yourself into the pot. I'm gonna add a little bit of rum to it, okay? If you don't like it, or if you're gonna say that's not Indian, that's not curry, you know what?
Doesn't
Shut
matter.
up, this is my curry.
Doesn't matter.
So I'm gonna add some barrilito, which is a spice rum from Puerto Rico, to start the most amazing rum.
Right.
If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. Barrilito, amazing. Have you tried this?
I never tried, but I will.
You like rum?
I love rum.
I'll show you a little bit. I'll give you something special. So basically what we want is to add some liquid to it, right? And we're just gonna cook it and burn the alcohol. All we want here is the wood flavor of the rum, okay? So we want to burn the alcohol before we do anything else. Okay? Beautiful. Beautiful. Are you happy?
I love it. I love the smell. Yeah.
You're
Smells
happy?
so good, guys. The flavor, the taste is very intense.
So the recipe calls for some fish stock, and again, I didn't have any fish stock because I forgot. I'm so sorry. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water that was left over. Right? Okay. Got that. And now I'm gonna add the coconut milk. Oh. Ah, smells so good. So now we're gonna actually bring it to simmer and cook it for about 5 minutes. And at the end, I'm gonna add the lobster. Lobster cooks very, very fast. So you don't wanna add it now because then you're gonna have some kind of very dry lobster that you don't wanna have. So I add it at the end. I have already some white rice that I hope you follow my recipe on the box and you have some white rice. Because you need to actually eat your curry with white rice.
Right.
But if you don't have rice, you could eat it with some potatoes. Or
Yeah, potatoes, vegetable dish.
vegetables, whatever
On
you
the
have.
side, yeah.
So I'm gonna put my fire. I'm gonna bring my fire up. Oh. All right, Francois. So what do you think? I'm doing a good job or what?
I love it. The
Love
flavor
it?
is there, the color is there.
Okay.
You did,
at the color, amazing.
yeah, that's why you add the coconut milk into it to make the curry paste a tiny bit more lighter. I think it's a very good idea. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna use a little secret that you French people have.
Okay.
And well, because you guys know, I'm sure some of you guys know what it is. You know what it is?
The French secret for lobster.
French secret in cooking sauces. There's
Butter.
one.
Oh, butter, you got me. Yeah.
So I'm
we
just
love
gonna
butter.
give
You're right.
a little pinch of butter. He's gonna give me that
You're right.
creaminess that I'm looking for. I'm sure.
We love
Well,
butter.
Indian people would add ghee, right?
Yeah.
But I want the fat of it, and I want the cream of it.
Right.
So I'm not gonna use ghee. I'm gonna use whole butter. If you want to stick to the Indian traditions, you just add ghee to it.
But like you say, it's doing a dish to what you like. I think that's what is matter. You know. Sometimes traditional recipes are good, but it's good to add your own twist, no?
But I want to say also, which is really true, before you start exploring, it's very important that you actually get to know the tradition
Of course.
and really
And then you
understand the tradition before you explore.
Exactly.
Because if you don't know the base, if you don't know the tradition, you start exploring, you start doing
Right.
what I'm doing, you're gonna,
There's no point.
there's no point to it.
Yeah.
You really have to start by doing the traditional recipes and working on that and getting better at it. And
Right.
until you say, okay, I'm comfortable enough to try something
To
else
explore.
and to
Yeah.
explore, then you start exploring.
Yeah.
Before that, do not explore.
Right.
Okay, so I'll go back a little bit. Alright, so now,
Yeah.
Why?
The smell getting there. Mm.
how's that? How's it smell? How's it
I
smell?
love it.
Amazing.
Okay, now we got people talking over here and they're saying it's amazing. All of our crew, which is a lot of people behind the scenes. Look at everybody. This is our crew. Say hello to our crew. Our crew is want to really eat and drink the wine. So, all right. So now we have it kind of boiling, simmering. I'm gonna let it cook for a little bit, not too much. Before you actually add your lobster or your protein or your vegetables, it's important to taste your sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure it's there. You want to make sure to actually give it more flavor to the sauce. So that will take a little bit, 2 more minutes.
To be infused.
In the meantime, thank you guys for being here with us. We're gonna be doing this. My partner just told me that almost every 2 weeks, I guess, because you guys love it, and we love to showcase these people that are actually working with a lot of passion and they're doing it. I mean, this is third generation of Spice Master. Do you know any Spice Master? You don't know any Spice Master. This is third generation since 19 what?
33.
33. Traveling the world looking for the best spices, making the best blends. I mean, and now you can go to vecinosmarket.com and just buy all this stuff. Come on, deliver to your door.
Ship all over the country.
Ship all over the country, whatever you want. We'll go cook in your house if you want.
The next step. Not yet.
That's a price ticket. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. All right, so Francois, I think we're ready. I'm gonna taste my sauce again.
All right.
I'm gonna give it another taste again.
I'll take some to go.
Oh,
For my wife's birthday.
see, now I got that ginger that I want. Of course.
You got it.
Of course, you're gonna take some.
It's her
Actually,
birthday.
his wife birthday. So happy birthday to wifey.
She might be looking my
Happy birthday. Thank you so much for sharing your Spice
Francois.
Master. He's going back home with some lobster and white curry coconut sauce. So you'll be more than happy. So I got my lobster here. Just gonna place it all around. Beautiful. Right? Again, it's gonna take 2-3 minutes to cook. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And what salt does, actually you don't even need a lot of salt in these spice mixtures because everything is there. But salt actually brings my flavors a little bit. It just kind of gives me another push. I don't want to use salt the way we use it in the States. That we want to add salt because we want to taste salt. I'm going to use salt here just to bring all these flavors out. That's it. Just a little bit. So I'm using sea salt from Croatia actually. Just a little bit. Not too much. Not too much. This is amazing salt that I got from a trip to Croatia. Right? So I'm gonna just give it a little turn, and I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of acidity. I'm gonna use a little bit of lemon juice. It's cooking very well, perfect. And at the end, I'm gonna just add a little fresh herbs. I'm gonna use a little bit of basil, cilantro, and green onion. Just a little touch. Actually, I'm gonna add my green just now to it. I'm gonna add my leaves right now. I'm almost done. Just I want them like that. I want them big. If you want to chop them, you don't want. I just want them like that. A little bit of cilantro. Boom. Look at this. Can you bring the camera here, please? Can you bring the camera somehow? Somehow people want to see it. Or I can bring the pot to you if you want.
Yeah, bring
You
the
want me to
pot.
bring the pot to you? The camera guy says, bring my pot to me. Okay, I'll bring the pot. I have no problem with this. This is beautiful. Give me one more. So you know what? We don't have to do it. We're gonna serve a plate right here for all of you. Right here, right here. 1 second.
The flavors are just amazing.
Oh, it smells so good. Lobster. Smells good, huh?
Amazing.
Look at this, all simple, all clean. Come on, guys. Bring your egos down and just cook simple, simple food. Simple food tastes much better. Look at this, look at this, look at that, look at that. Beautiful. And if you want to get fancy, you can do this. Some people like to get fancy.
Right. Use the shell.
Just put a little shell.
There we go.
Look. You want to get fancy. Restaurant style. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, then you clean your plate. Boom.
Boom.
Voila.
Voila!
Voila.
Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here with us. Again, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to have Spice Master. I have a lot of ideas already in my head that we're going to be talking
For sure.
for sure. Be great. I mean, there's nothing better than knowledge, and there's nothing better than traveling, and there's nothing better than actually doing it in the comfort of your home and going through 3 generations of Spice Master, going around the world and the curries and learning all about this. This is amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here in my kitchen. Hopefully you come back. Oh, of course you come
For
back.
sure, yeah.
And yeah, have a good night. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Nice.